start. Okay, I'm going to say good afternoon to everyone joining us this afternoon for our very first webinar of January and our first webinar of 2025. And what better way to start it than with the fantastic University of Ostrava? We do have a large number of people signed up, so we are going to give it a bit of time for people who are in the waiting room to join in. We're also going to be joined by people who are watching the stream live on the Medical Doorway YouTube channel and on the Facebook page, as well as LinkedIn. I'm recognizing some of the names that are coming in here who haven't gone anonymous, and we've actually got some of the applicants who've applied already for this year. So it's going to be a really useful webinar. What I'm going to just do some housekeeping as we go through, as more people join in. This obviously is a live webinar now. We do have the Q&A feature available at the bottom. So for those people that are viewing the webinar on Zoom, you can use the Q&A feature at the bottom. Just type in your question at any point you want. It's not a problem. Just type it in. We will, at the end of the presentation, we will then read out your question and answer it. Now, there are two reasons for that. One is all the questions you ask are anonymous, so you're not going to be named. So you can feel free to ask anything you want, because if you've got a question in your mind, I can guarantee someone else has it in their mind as well. The second thing is this is actually being live streamed on Facebook and YouTube and LinkedIn. So for those people watching on those channels, they perhaps will want to hear from the question as well. And for those people watching the re-recording of this, same thing, they'll also want to basically listen to your questions and listen to the answers from Prasan or Professor Skada as we go through the presentation. Like I said, ask any question you want. I've visited Ostrava many times. It's a great city, great cultural city in the south of the Czech Republic, very famous concerts and different things going on in the city, as well as a very interesting industrial history as well. I've got a great affinity for the city because it reminds me of actually the place I grew up when I was a child living in the UK. And it's got a lot of different opportunities for travel with its own airport, etc. So it is really a fantastic place if you're a medical student and aspiring to a smaller institution in a dynamic city as well. Anyway, without any further ado, I'm going to introduce Professor Josef Skada, who joined us for our Dubai event in early November and then was back in London for the London event on the 30th of November. And had many students asking him various questions, and was joined by one of the current students who's actually going to graduate pretty soon. Just to kind of give everyone a bit of a nod, really, it was last year, 2024, I should say, that we had our very first graduates from Ostrava University. Our very first group went 6 years later. They graduated and are now registered for the working in the United Kingdom. In addition, I know a number of those students did electives in the United States, and perhaps these are some of the kind of things we're going to touch on as we go through the webinar, whether you're listening live or listening to the recording. There's going to be lots of information for you to take in. So without any further ado, I'm going to hand over to Professor Josef. I'll put myself on mute. Professor Josef Skada has got a fantastic presentation, and that's going to take, I would say, about 30 minutes, 25, 30 minutes to discuss the basics of the university. And then there'll be plenty of time for questions. If you're with us on YouTube or with us on Facebook, please do feel free to type in your questions in the comments there. We will take a look at them and we'll get to those questions at the right time. And it's fantastic to see more and more people joining us as we go. So, Professor, I'm just going to hand over to you because we're all keen on what you want to say, to find out more about the fantastic facilities, especially that simulation centre you've got in Ostrava, that spectacular multi-professional simulation centre. So let's listen to what you've got to say. And then, guys, if you've got any questions, please just pop them into the Q&A and we'll deal with all the questions one by one at the end of the presentation. We're looking to finish this probably by, 6:15 UK time at the very latest. So don't worry, we're not going to keep you here for the next 3 hours. There will be time to get away and enjoy your evening. But Professor, the floor is yours.
Good evening. Wonderful to see you all. Wonderful to see you, Ben. We are here for you. Wonderful. And thank you very much for the privilege to have the first webinar in the new year. By the way, Happy New Year. And we are going to show you some details about the university. So welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm excited because I also was a medical student and I was also excited to choose the medical faculty I'm going to study in. So I'm going to give you the details from the perspective of a teacher, and then you'll get a chance to see, to answer the question, to give questions to our students, to Prasan, who will be graduating. So I'm excited again to have you. And first of all, let me share the presentation with you. It's a small presentation for, it's in a PDF format. So this is Ostrava. This is our building of the Faculty of Medicine. It's the youngest Faculty of Medicine in Czech Republic. The building is very modern. Just for your interest, this used to be a part of the old hospital where it was a gynecological clinic before. Now this is our beautiful campus for our students, modernly built. So where we'll hopefully see some of you. In fact, let me tell you for the beginning that for you who will be interested, you're very welcome to visit the place. We do organize tours because to see one presentation is inspiring, but to look through the campus, see the actual site and tour the site is much more exciting. So let's start. This is Ostrava. Ostrava, as I said, it's a third largest city in the Czech Republic. Basically, it used to be an industrial mining center, but as you see, it's a modern university city with modern campuses. Actually, the city started to be built in the late 50s because of the mining industry, which now is not so common, and the mines are being closed. So they recultivated the whole region. This is the nice river. These are the new modern building estates, and it's a student town where you have a couple of theaters, galleries, all types of cafeterias. It's a dynamic student city, and it's very safe. And today, nowadays, it's also very clean. So, where is Ostrava located? Ostrava is located here in close to Polish border. But Ostrava has its also own airport. It has 290,000 inhabitants, and it has 3 universities. Just for interest, one of them is a technical university with a mining faculty, with a lot of IT development, so a lot of fun also with that. So you see that it's a university city, and that's just a closer look how close it's located to Poland, but it's within a reach actually to Vienna. It's within a reach to all closer European cities, so it's not a big problem. It has its own airport. From Prague, it takes 3 hours to get there. From Vienna, also 3 hours. And there's a nearby airport in Poland, in Katowice, Krakow, or Warsaw, which takes 2-4 hours to get there. This is Leoš Janáček International Airport, Ostrava, where you are kindly welcome to land, and hopefully we'll see some of you during the medical faculty. So, University of Ostrava is also very young. It was established in 1991, and it's composed of several faculties: Faculty of Pedagogy, Faculty of Arts, Scientists, Fine Arts, Social Sciences, and Faculty of Medicine, which was established in 1993, and therefore it's the youngest medical faculty. So again, here is the campus. And what do we offer? We offer a classical master degree with a duration of 6 years, basically fully recognized in the European Union and also in Great Britain. It's a 6-year full-time study. The tuition fee is 12,000 euros. The language which we teach in is exclusively English, basically. And we have a scholarship system, which I'll be getting on further. So, this is part of the hospital. These are some pictures from the hospital. I'm sorry about this. The presentation just went a little bit down, so I'll keep back into it. And we return to the slide. So let's go. So as we see here, why to study at the University Hospital in Ostrava? University Hospital in Ostrava has the best clinical teaching in Czech Republic because our creed is to take smaller number of students, but get them flowing into the process. So in other words, we believe not in theory, but in practice. So what you will be involved in is the actual medical work with the simulation center. Already from the second year of studies, you will be involved in the simulation center, and you will be involved in a practical work in the hospital in emergency disciplines, the basic emergency and nursing practice. And we have a one-to-one student-tutor teaching. Maximum student-tutor teaching is 1 to 3. So actually, you are assigned a patient and you're working on a patient. This simulation center is wonderful because it's the most comprehensive simulation center. It covers the admission of a student of a patient in an emergency situation, and then it covers the whole procedure where each student goes through the whole procedure and is part of the team of the simulation center. So we also have special unit for neurosurgery and for eye surgery, which is unique for Central Europe. We also have new buildings and facilities. As you see, our campuses are fully developing and they are new. This is the facilities of the laboratory, facilities of biochemistry, and you can see the nice campus together with a nice big lecture hall. So the campus is really nice, very friendly and very cozy. The practical training is realized in 3 hospitals. Why 3 hospitals? Because we want you to have a hands-on experience on government hospital, which is Faculty Hospital of Ostrava, but also 2 private hospitals. One of them is a municipality hospital with half private ownership and then a private hospital. We do want you to experience these practices because the management of health in private and sector is a little bit different, and want you to get hands-on experience on all the possibility of the possible hospitals that are available. So we have 1,100 beds in the State Faculty Hospital, and we treat 47,000 patients per year. So you see that the experience is huge, and the practical training basically is together with the highest equipped techniques. This is, for instance, a cyber knife. It's a special equipped knife, which is an X-ray knife, basically, which enables to treat specific cases of metastases and specific cases of heart arrhythmias. We are the only institution in Czech Republic that is top-notch in these type of treatments. So we also, of course, offer Erasmus program, study abroad. This is one of our biggest hospitals in Tel HaShomer in Israel, where we offer Erasmus programs for the Tel HaShomer. But it's not only top-notch hospitals that are involved in Erasmus programs and student exchange, but because of the fact that our dean, Associate Professor Magyar, actually is actively involved in humanitarian missions in Tanzania, Kenya, Philippines, Ethiopia, Sumatra, and Georgia. He is a part of a team, and we are establishing hospitals in these countries as a charity hospital, and we are helping the countries over there to establish the clinics, to establish laboratory practice in different medical disciplines. So that's basically what is very important for us. These humanitarian aid and humanitarian organizations are extremely important. So that's what I want to stress. And what else to say? Well, when I go back, the most important thing is the living accommodation in Ostrava. In Ostrava, we have beautiful dormitories for the students of different categories, where the maximum price is 190 euro per month. Apartment rental is 250 to 600 euro per month. And of course, we also have, here you have the presentation of living expenses, where the cost of living is really, really very feasible. We have transport expense, 16 euros, food expenses, 230 euros to 340 euros, accommodation is 140 euros to 180 euros. So it's a very, very good price range. What I do want to stress is that we have a scholarship system, because we really want to encourage the best students to be involved, because we consider our students as future partners of cooperation. We don't only consider students as an opportunity of a student-to-teacher experience, but we also see you as future contacts for research. This is the reason we decided to get a scholarship for excellent students. What is excellent student? Excellent student is a straight A student a student who gets straight A's within 1 year of medical teaching, and once he achieves straight A's in a certain year, he's reimbursed 50% of the tuition fee, which is very, very nice. What else? So the student life. Ostrava is the third largest city in the Czech Republic. Here are superb cultural events like Colors of Ostrava, which is one of the biggest events in the Middle Europe for modern music. Then, because there is a faculty also of physical sciences, and so we also provide a lot of sport activities, a lot of theaters, and basically a lot of leisure for students. We do have a lot of research activities and research facilities. We have a special project called Life Environmental Research Center in Ostrava, which is an internationally European project which integrates international students to international research teams from worldwide. We have a very strong hemato-oncology group, neurosurgery group, a molecular biology group. So we give you as a student an opportunity to actively get involved in top-notch international research and therefore be involved in publications as well. So we can also offer you these activities as well. What about entrance examination? Well, entrance exam is online, and basically it's a standard exam from biology, chemistry, and physics, where basically you apply for the exam, you pass the exam is online, and then you get the result of the exam. The exam level and the level of exam questions is similar to other medical faculties in Czech Republic because of the accreditation system. So so the conditions for the accreditation system are fully met. Therefore, the level of knowledge and the level of demand is equal, comparable to other medical faculties in Czech Republic. So, and this is our graduates from our medical faculty, Ostrava University. And I thank you for your attention. Here's a contact whenever you would like. You can contact me on this mobile phone. We'd be more than happy to assist you. And of course, we'll be more than happy to assist you during your visit in Ostrava. We have a tutorial system for the students. So throughout your future studies in Ostrava, you'll be fully equipped with a full tutorial system. So we are looking forward to see you as students, as our future partners, as our future colleagues, and thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you, Professor. If you can just end the screen share, then I'm going to do a little bit of updates for people on my experience of Ostrava and the students we've worked with in the past. So like I said to everyone, Ostrava is, and the university, if you're looking for a university that has a higher student to staff ratio where you're going to have more one-to-one teaching, or if you need that and have more access to different large hospitals which are based in Ostrava, you're not really going to find a university or a city with the same level of facilities or the same access to that kind of opportunity as you're going to find at Ostrava, because it is a place with a smaller enrollment with more close attention from staff. So if you want that kind of environment, that kind of institution, yes, Ostrava does offer that. The one thing which the professor alluded to in the presentation was the student accommodation. Now, I've physically seen the student accommodation in Ostrava at the college. I think it's the Campus Palace is some of the pictures that were there. It's a fantastic facility with different levels of accommodation, whether you want single rooms or en suite. There's different things for you to choose from based on your budget and your preferences. There's also a gym on site. There's different types of restaurants in the same building on site. And it's literally just a 5-minute tram ride up to the main train station in Ostrava, or a short journey again from the local airport, which does have direct flights from London for those who are actually looking at flying in, say, from the UK. We are going to go through your questions in a bit, everyone. So what I would suggest is if you do have any questions, get them typed down now. We are going to go through everything at each particular with each question and probably build on those questions a bit more. Now, I'm trying to think. We do have Prasan with us. Prasan, are you with us there? I think Prasan might be having some technical problems because he hasn't been able to kind of come online yet. But we'll see if Prasan can kind of coordinate that. Okay, so let's go through the questions. And then we'll also kind of add a bit of meat to the bones, so to speak, on there. And I'm looking at some more of the names that have joined us during the presentation. It's great to see some of this year's applicants already kind of engaging with these types of webinar sessions. Okay, so let's start off at the top. Ostrava graduate can work in the UK without any further examination. Okay, I'll talk about how the system works in the UK, because I think a lot of people are a bit confused about how it works in the UK now after we left the EU. Basically, the UK brought over legislation from when we were in the European Union that programs that are directly recognised by the medical regulator in the European Economic Area member state are directly recognised in the UK. So if you study medicine outside of the European Economic Area, so we do have students who come to us who've chosen to study medicine in places like Serbia, etc., they have to take licensing exams. But if you qualify from a university in the European Economic Area, and obviously Ostrava is like right in the center of the European Economic Area, the GMC will recognize the licensing exam of that particular country. So the answer is you don't have to take the medical licensing assessment based on current legislation. Now, whether that might change in 6, 10, 20 years, I can't tell you, because I can't predict the future. But under current legislation, you don't have to take the medical licensing exam. The one exam you do have to take if you want to come and work in the UK is an English language test. Even if you're British, you'd have to take an IELTS test. That's the same whether you study in the Czech Republic, Hungary, Italy, Slovakia, Latvia, you'd have to take that English language test, okay? But your medical qualification, direct recognition, and actually all of our British graduates have got from the Czech Republic generally have no issue on employability in the UK, okay? Now, Professor, I don't know if you mentioned this in the actual presentation, but what's your enrollment pay? What's your size per year? How many students enroll?
Okay, that's a beautiful question. Since we want to get a big attention to our students, so we enroll maximum 50 students per year, because we want to ensure that there is a one-to-one tutor-student relationship, attitude, and care. Because what you pay for is the clinical practice. You don't pay for theory. You pay for enrollment and clinical practice with the tutor, because that's what's going to make you a doctor.
Yeah.
And in the 6th year, we also have practical exams. For instance, a state exam is not the theory of how much the doctor can imbibe from the books, but it's a question how he deals with the patient. So actually, the exam itself will be from a real on-patient situation. And based on the performance, actually you are graduating on a level of a GP, of a beginning GP, with everything possible.
Okay.
So practice.
Yeah, so so it's a smaller faculty compared to some other faculties across Europe. So you will get that close connection. And that will feed into the second part of this particular question about how many students successfully finish the program. In fact, based on the feedback I've had, every single one of the medical doorway students that we've had go to Ostrava has successfully graduated. We've had no one come back to us who've had any issues, okay? So again, of all the students who have enrolled from the medical doorway pathway, I can't comment on students who didn't enroll through us. We've had 100% graduation rate for those groups that have enrolled and now successfully graduated and registered with the GMC. So the tuition fees, we'll talk about the scholarship in a bit, because I think there's another question later on about the scholarship systems. But the tuition fees are 12,000 euros. All right. That is one of the most kind of cost-effective programs you're going to find in Central Europe. All right. Just explain, Professor, can the students pay the tuition fees in multiple installments or 2 installments, or do they require to pay in one? I think people just need to know this for their cash flow.
Yes, for your cash flow, it's important that maximum installments which we allow is 2 installments. Yes, of course, as everybody, we prefer if you pay 1 installment, that's logical, but we allow 2 installments.
Okay, all right. So basically, yeah, so you can pay in 2 installments, so 6,000 euros per semester, basically. Okay. Now, this is an interesting one, and we do get these kinds of requests, actually, and I'm going to answer this from an informed basis. So someone's asked, can a graduate work in the Czech Republic after you study? Actually, 100%, because your license is a Czech Republic license, which then is directly recognized, obviously, by the medical regulator in the Czech Republic. In fact, some of our students in the past, at different universities have remained in the Czech Republic for personal reasons, because they decided they made a connection in the Czech Republic, and they decided to remain in the Czech Republic afterwards. So yes, your qualification allows you to work straight away in the Czech Republic. And like any developed economy in Europe, hospitals are always looking for doctors. Yeah, because many Czech doctors do go to graduate and go to work in the UK or go to work in the United States, Canada, etc. So in fact, if you do want that opportunity, it is there to actually continue to work in the Czech Republic afterwards. And then if you stay for a length of time, is a pathway to citizenship, etc. But those go beyond what we're discussing here. I think you have a broad range of nationalities working in the hospitals, don't you, Professor?
If I may just a little bit add on, we have people from India, we have people from UK, we have people from different nationalities. Because basically the system, for instance, in radiology is electronic. So basically there is a code of diagnosis, and anyhow the codes are international. So we, for instance, the blood center, in the blood transfusion center, there are people working from abroad, and they are absolutely perfect because they work in their own environment. They know Czech, they learn Czech gradually. And in fact, Czech Republic is a very open society, and it's acceptable that when someone with an English citizenship basically works in the staff, because it's considered a prestige to be treated by someone like this. So we actually are encouraged, since the university hospital is basically recruiting young doctors, we are actually encouraged from the hospital management to employ them. And the salaries are quite nice. I mean, for the beginning, really, honestly, it's totally different what it used to be before, because now the salaries for beginning doctors are very, very nice, really. So you don't have to worry about that. The living expenses are cheaper than in England. And basically the cost of buying a house, renting a car, buying a car is much cheaper. So you're substantially getting a very nice salary with a lot of cheaper stuff, and actually because we have international projects and international clinical projects, so our staff will be very happy to enroll. In other words, we have a Life Environment Research Center in Ostrava, which is an international project aimed specifically to create an international environment for international doctors to work here in practice and in research.
Perfect. Wonderful. So yeah, so the Czech Republic is an open country. That's definitely, if you've got the qualification that's going to benefit the Czech Republic, you are pushing on open doors there. Okay. So let's go into the entrance exam again, and I'm going to explain this. And we do have the dates for you available, and I'm going to share the Medical Doorway website shortly to show you the exam dates. Let me just get that up for you to share at the right time. Okay. And I'll show you how to make the application actually at the same time as doing that. Okay, so give me 1 second. Okay, so someone's saying, can you explain the online exam once again, a bit more about what level of knowledge is expected for the test? What I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly share with you the Medical Doorway website, everyone. So you should see the Medical Doorway website in front of you. Okay, now, if you want to see when the exam dates are, you can go to medicaldoorway.com and then you can click exams. And you'll see the dates. Now, our first main exam is on April the 11th. Now, the April 11th exam is fantastic for those students who are applying from, say, non-European countries, especially from the Middle East, Africa, Asia, etc., because we need to get the offer through as early as possible to enable you to apply for the student visa. It can take a while to secure the paperwork and the appointment to apply for a student visa. So my advice is for any student who needs any type of visa is to apply early. Okay, the earlier you apply, the earlier you will get your paperwork, the earlier we can get an offer for you, the earlier we can get your visa appointment, okay? So you'll see April the 11th. We do have another exam early June the 3rd, okay? And then the exam, which comes on July the 7th, this is really strongly only recommended for those students who can at least travel to the Schengen area without a visa. So my advice is if you're from, say, the Middle East or Asia and you need a visa, you apply April the 11th. Now, you make the application very easily. If you click on the Ostrava exam here, you'll see that information about the exam. In various parts of the website, you will see this blue button, check application form. And because the exam's online, it goes to our online application rather than an in-country application. You simply fill in the details here, choose Ostrava University. That then comes through to Medical Doorway. We assess your application, and then once we've determined eligibility, we'll then set up your application directly with the university. And the other thing I'm going to say now is there is no agency fee charged by Medical Doorway. That's for the case of any of our programs in Central Europe, because we are funded directly by the university. There is no need to pay an agent. A student came to our office today, actually, who's lost over £1,000 to an agency, and we had to counsel them heavily because there's no need to spend money on any agent fees at all. Medical Doorway is directly funded by the institutions. So you make this application, we'll then register you for the most relevant online exam. Now, let me just stop my share. The exam, as I said, it's online. It's 3 papers, biology, chemistry, and some basic physics. It's all multiple choice. You take it online, you get a quick result. And then if you get through the pass mark of each paper, which floats a little bit, then you will receive your offer. Now, this is the next thing. The offer that you receive is de facto unconditional. So you don't need to get, if you're an A-level student, you don't need to get A star, A star, A star in your A's. You don't need to get 41 on the IB. As long as you successfully graduate from high school, you will then go through what we call the nostrification procedure, which is needed for enrollment. But once you pass the exam, we can then use that paperwork to apply for the visa. And the beauty of the exams being online is you haven't got to travel anywhere. If you're not in Europe, the UK, or for example, the Middle East, where we'd usually run our in-person exams, it's not a problem. You can register from anywhere as long as you've got a good internet connection, and it goes through a company, I think it's called CO or something like that, the company that run the exam.
CIO, yes.
CIO, yeah. They'll arrange the exam with you. It's fully proctored, fully secure. And then once you've then passed the exam, God willing, you'll then receive not just the offer from the university, but also an accommodation guarantee to allow you to apply for the visa. I think I've covered most things there, Professor. Is there anything I've missed? Please do feel free to kind of correct me or add.
Yes. There is one thing we do offer. Once you decide to study with us and you make enrollment, then we cover your first cabin expenses here. So we just make an extra sort of a bonus. But do use the opportunities for visiting our campus and our hospitals. Because you'll see practical medicine done by the tutors, where the tutors are able to explain you exactly what we do, exactly what is the approach to a student, and you'll see actually the facility, the campus, the site. So as I say, we stress on practical medicine, which is really practiced in a very, very high level. And this is where we stress on. Now, there can be one other question. Let's say somebody wants to become a neurosurgeon, he's made up his mind that, okay, he wants to become a neurosurgeon from the beginning. So we offer him an extra possibility for practical involvement in that department from the first step. And those tutors are really giving, from my personal experience, what I saw, wonderful extra time for the students.
Yeah. Fantastic. Right, let's go through some of the questions. Question here about the scholarship. So basically, just to reiterate the scholarship opportunity. So if you enter in year 1, yes, you pay your €12,000. But if you score A's across your modules, then you will be awarded a 50% scholarship for the second year. And then you can retain that by maintaining the highest grades throughout your year, because they want to reward merit. Okay. So Prasan has managed to join us. Prasan's managed. Oh, good to see you again, Prasan. Give me one, Prasan. Let me just make a quick change to this here. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Can you? And I'm going to mute you a second, Prasan.
Okay. Yeah. Sure.
Right. So we've answered this question before. There's another question further down. I'm going to link these two together. Okay. So there are 50 seats available. All right. Someone's asked about how do we allocate those 50? Right. This is actually a mathematical thing. Don't worry about it too much. Basically, the university knows if it gets where the pass mark has to get enough people accepting the offer to have 50 enrollments. Universities across the world do this because they analyze the data. So don't worry. It's 50, give or take, and that usually is give or take 5% who enroll above or below that, purely based on historical numerical data. So the universities know where to set their pass mark, and it varies from one university to the other about where they would set the pass mark. And those numbers always generally work out. Okay. Right. Someone's asked a bit about the United States. Very easy. I'm going to share my screen again. So to check if a university is accredited for practice in the United States, you need to go to the World Directory of Medical Schools. And I've just, while Professor was talking, I've gone and done that. And I've brought up the details for Ostrava University. So here we are. Here's the details for Ostrava University. Okay, school details are all here. Program details here. Language instruction, it says English there, for example, and sponsor notes. So as you can see, the program in Ostrava is recognized for taking the United States medical licensing exams in the US, as well as the MCCQE exams for Canada. So that's on the World Directory of Medical Schools. That's the name in Czech there. So you don't have to worry about recognition in the EU, UK, or in the United States, okay? And someone said about the tuition fees, yes, you can pay in 2 installments, okay? Right, so let me just, okay. And again, for those people asking where the graduates have gone on, our UK graduates have returned to the UK, but they did have the ability. And I know some of our graduates did do electives in the United States. So Prasan's managed to get over those technical issues. He's joined us now. It's good to see you again, Prasan. So Prasan, from your perspective, just remind me, because it's a while since we last met, where are you currently in your studies?
I'm in my final year.
Okay, so you're actually, that was that long ago. That's why I can't remember, you know,
Yeah.
since we were last in communication. But so
Yeah.
you finally, so you're in your internship year, your final clinical.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
People are asking about this. Talk a little bit about these kind of practices you've had, the kind of rotations you've had in Ostrava, because there are some amazing hospitals in the city.
Yeah, it's like very sort of like very hands-on.
Mm.
So this year we did in the last semester we did pediatrics. So we sort of like shadow a doctor. We get to ask questions. We can examine patients. They'll teach us stuff that we don't know. It'll be like a lot of clinical stuff, like for example dosages. This week, this sort of like block right now, I'm doing internal. So me and another girl, we were asked questions on, for example, what would you do if a patient is on corticosteroids and so forth? And they got like an infection, and do you increase the dose? Do you lower the dose? So it's sort of preparing us for like the real world, basically.
Okay, yeah. And have you had any state exams yet?
Yeah, we've had 2 so far.
Which ones have you had?
I've had obs and gynae and then pediatrics as well.
Good. And I think the exams generally, and this is something which is a bit different, say for studying medicine in the UK, all
Yeah.
your orals, aren't they? They're all practical or oral exams.
Most of them are orals. There is like a written element. It'll be like an MCQ.
Yep.
And then the oral part is just like a bunch of questions, like depending on the topic, it'll be like, I don't know, like about 100 to 150 questions.
Yeah. And just for those people who are joining us perhaps a bit late, you've obviously lived in Ostrava for a while. It's kind of like second home to you. You know, tell us a bit more what you feel, how you get the vibe of the city, because it is actually the city is actually quite spread out, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Because it's like different parts of the city. But yeah, it's a very industrial city, but it's also new as well. It feels kind of new. Like a lot of like historic sites. There's also like places for you to do like hiking and sort of stuff.
Yeah.
From my personal experience, it was sort of like it's not as like vibrant, I would say, as the other cities, but I think it's good in a sense that there's no distractions in terms of your studies. But there is still stuff to do, so that you don't get burnt out as well.
Yeah, no, it's important to balance that, especially
Yeah, for sure.
You're not far from the Polish border as well, and there's different
Yep.
opportunities there, perhaps which you wouldn't have, perhaps in say other larger places. And
Mhm.
been to Ostrava. And what I like about Ostrava, and I think both yourself and the professor will agree with me on this, is the history of Ostrava. They've not kind of got rid of it, like, you know, some of
Yeah,
the
for sure. Yeah.
in the UK where we deindustrialized, a lot of the factories and the things like that disappeared. What they've done is they've converted them into cultural centers. And one of the most amazing things is you've got
Yeah.
that in the old, you've got an old kind of great big water tanker that must hold
Yeah.
millions of liters of water. It's now a concert hall, you know,
Yeah.
like that. I find a very interesting.
Yeah, there's if I add on to that, so where I'm staying, there's like this huge massive hall. It used to be something, but then now they just use it for like skate parks and like volleyball, football, also sort of like markets and stuff.
Yeah,
So there'll be like, and there's also like usually like a lot of events as well.
yeah, yeah. Prasan, have you done many electives? Have you done other different things while you've been at the university?
Um, not not sort of out of curriculum. It's all been curriculum. So fourth year we had to do a pediatrics internship,
Yeah.
and then fifth year at the end of the before our fifth year was completed, we had to do also a obstetrics and gynecology internship as well. So I did my pediatrics in Tanzania
Yep.
and I did my
Wow.
OBG in India.
Wow. Now, just for those people that are on here, guys, you know, to have someone here with you, sixth year British student who's gone and done electives in Tanzania and India, that demonstrates the kind of opportunities you're going to have if you find this is the right place for you. And you know, think about those experiences. They're going to be
Yeah,
things that are going to be with you, Prasan, for the rest of your life,
yeah, for
aren't
sure. Yeah,
they? Yeah. You'll never
it's
forget
completely
that.
different, and it's a valuable experience.
Yeah. Okay, guys, what we've got, for those people that are left online, whether you're on the Zoom call or on YouTube or on Facebook, I'm just checking. If you've got any other questions, now's the time to answer them, because we're going to be letting the professor and Prasan go because they've given up an evening here because obviously they are 1 hour ahead of the UK and it is January and cold everywhere. So if you do have any more questions, feel free to type them into the Q&A feature, okay?
Yeah.
And then we'll be able to get to them over the next 5 or 10 minutes or so, okay? So, Prasan, I want to talk a bit about your future. What are your plans? Because you're now really in the last semester of your
Yeah,
experience at med school. So,
yeah,
what
for sure. Yeah.
moving forward?
Well, the GMC requires me to do the IELTS, so I have to do that.
Yeah,
And then, it's really annoying, but it is what it is.
yeah,
Then I'm sort of like weighing up my options, but I'm trying to like keep as like because there's a lot of things I want to do. But I'm not like sure if I want to stay in the UK or if I want to go abroad. So I'm like just gonna do like everything, like just do like the MCAT, the USMLE, and
yeah,
just
yeah.
like just give everything a try.
Yeah,
But
and
yeah,
that goes back to before when I showed people the accreditation in the States. And this, I think Prasan might agree with me, is that when you study outside of the UK, when you study abroad, after a while, you develop a more global perspective. And you suddenly think, there are different pathways for my career. You know, you could work in the Republic of Ireland. It's a directly recognized EU program. Prasan, I don't know how well your Czech is, but someone asked before about remaining in the Czech Republic. That is
yeah,
all
you
well.
can. There's actually a doctor in the hospital in Peruba,
Yeah,
and she studied in Olomouc, and she's like she's a UK citizen and everything, but she works in the Czech Republic. So she had to do the Czech proficiency and everything.
yeah,
She
the
was
language.
examined by like the in Czech as well. So everything was in Czech. She passed it, so she's in the like the cardiology department right now.
Okay, perfect. So as you can see, guys, there are a lot of opportunities out there, depending on where you want to take your career. Prasan has done, you know, outreach work in India and in Tanzania, has got a qualification which enables him to work across Europe or come back to the UK, and he's now looking at taking the USMLE exams for the United States as well. So there are so many different opportunities. If you're a doctor, you're pushing on open doors. Okay. So by the looks of it, I think most people have asked their questions. Had some fantastic questions on this webinar. I know it's cold out and we've had some horrendous weather in the UK, so people have been struggling to get back, but we've had some fantastic questions. And what I'm going to sign off with before we go is to remind everyone, if you want to make that application, the earlier you apply, the earlier we can help you with your exam prep. All the exams for Ostrava are online. at 12,000 euros a year, you're going to find very few universities across the EU that provide the kind of level of education and facilities that you're going to find in Ostrava. And Prasan, you look like you're living in a very swish apartment there. So I don't know where you are now, but as I said, a lot of the accommodation in Ostrava is some of the best student accommodation we've ever seen. And I think you'll agree with that. Okay. The final thing we're going to ask Prasan, and this is more for the parents. They always ask me, parents all around the world ask me about, because they've got their son, daughter in another country. How do you find walking around Ostrava?
It's fine. Everyone's generally nice. Haven't experienced any discrimination, thankfully. People are generally like, I'd say Czech people are reserved, but if you can speak the language, like attempt to just try and speak it, the people will open up. People are just generally really nice in general. I haven't encountered anything, to be honest.
And I think there are, I haven't been to Ostrava for a while, but last time I was there, there are some fantastic restaurants.
For sure, yeah.
A Mexican restaurant I need to go back to at some point. It is absolutely spectacular. But anyway, okay, so thanks, guys, everyone, for turning up. I want to say a huge thank you from everyone who's joined us today, to Professor Yashevskod and to Prasan. Prasan, one of my old students who's now about to end his education in Ostrava, and then, see him maybe back in the UK, or he might decide to Czech Republic or go to the States, wherever he may be.
Yeah.
A huge thank you to them for giving up their evening, joining us. Thanks to everyone who joined us in the different fora, and thanks for the fantastic questions. We had a few other comments coming on social media now. Those that want to make the application, medicaldoorway.com. Do get in touch with us, get our full free of charge support, book a Zoom call with us as well. You can have an individual consultation, perhaps to find out if the University of Ostrava is the right one for you. And if that's the case, let's get the application in, get you started on the exam prep, and let's see you in Ostrava in September 2025. So thanks, everyone. Have a great evening and a great weekend.
Thank you so much. Have a lovely evening. It was wonderful to meet you.